Mm-hmm. Picture in picture, what the fuck? I don't know if you can hear me. I think you can hear me? In a video maintains no stream viewer with buffering. Internet connection. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me now? I can hear myself. Can you hear me, guys? Okay, nice. Oh, wait a second. I have a loud reverb. I'm using OBS right now and I don't really know how it works. Wait a second. Metallic? Okay, what the hell is going on? Okay, but why can't I hear myself? Wait a second. Wait a second. Let me look at the... your channel. Videos. Okay. What the hell is that? Skip? I just can't hear myself. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Give me 1 minute, guys. This is the mic. Can you still hear me now? Much better? Okay, yes. Yeah, I have a double entry for the mic, I think. Okay. Okay, sounds nice. Give me 1 second. Nice. Okay. Let me reduce that. Okay, guys, how are you? It's been a very long time. You still can hear me? I miss you too, missed you a lot. So it's been a very long time. My God, time flies. It's really incredible. But I'm glad to get back on the channel because yeah, it's been too long, to be honest. Yes, all the stream will be on the YouTube channel. So what I'm planning to do actually is to do some, it will be diverse, some modeling and shading session and some Q&A too. If you have a question about modeling issues you have, we will be able to tackle that on Sunday morning. It's really to restart the channel, but as I said in my previous video, I don't have time now to make proper video because it will take me too much time. But live stream is raw and is unedited, so I can just make them much easier. So today is the first stream. So today I'm gonna let me close all that stuff. So today will be a modeling session, and I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do today. Oh yeah, I know. I received an email recently about how to use modifiers in an efficient way for modeling. So I'm gonna take an example of something we're gonna 3D model. Let me think for a second. Let's look at what things can I model and use. Oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna do today. This is a previous lesson I planned to do, but I didn't release it. Let me see. Okay. So today I'm going to show you. It will not be really about the barrel itself, but what type of modifiers combination you can put in place to create this type of shape while keeping it as much editable as possible. And this is a previous lesson I didn't release, and I think it will be a really nice example on the heavy use of the array modifier and the simple deform to be able to create those kind of shape. If we look at an example of the image reference, and this is something I see a lot on 3D model, on Squid and stuff, and other sites like that. If you pay attention, look at how the wood, the wood is composed of different width. As you can see, it's not the same here and here and here and here. And I'm going to show you how to make that happen in 3D. It's not complicated. You just have to understand how the modifiers work. And once you understand that, after that, it's just a matter of put it in practice. So let me open my Blender session. Okay. So now I'm using 2.90.1. So briefly about, because I didn't do any videos about the new version of Blender, and what can I say? It's just, it's really amazing. The work the Blender Foundation did on this software, it's pure gold. Honestly, it has nothing to do with the previous, and now we can start taking things seriously, in my opinion. So I have nothing special to do to say about it, except it's really amazing. So for me, it didn't change a lot of things because my modeling workflow is custom based, and that's why you're gonna see me. First of all, because a lot of people are asking me for my screenshot, so you will be able to see it here. Let me see if I'm already streaming. Yes. Okay. So lots of people asked me in my previous video, man, what shortcut you press to go that fast and such and such. What you have to know about that is I take the time to rethink how I do my work, and for that I change entirely all the mapping of the keys, because for me they weren't efficient for speed. So unfortunately I won't be able to go into it right now. So I will tell you everything I'm gonna do in the software, so pay attention about what I say. And if you have question, you can just post it in the chat. Okay, so now let's do it. So what we're gonna start to do first is creating this wood here, and after that the cap here, and the ring after. So for that, we have different options. Either you can do it manually, you can sculpt it manually, but I don't recommend that. The most obvious way will be to use to create one and use the array modifier to duplicate them. But as I said previously, they are not the same width. So how we can make that happen in the 3D package? So let me show you that first part. So first, I need to, I don't remember. Wait a second. Size and dimension. Whiskey barrel. I don't remember the size. Okay, I'm looking for the dimension. I don't remember. Okay, 1 liter. Okay, I have the surface here. Okay, so let's start. Do I have a way to? Ah, yes, I can pop up the chat. Nice. Let me see the chat here. I have to put it somewhere, somehow. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it here for now. Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna start with a lattice modifier, and let me explain you why. I always use not a lattice modifier, a lattice object to bound the dimension of the object I want to 3D model. So so I don't go over, especially if it's not precise and I just want a rough estimation of the dimension of it. I always use a lattice modifier. So what I need to do right now, I need to move the bottom here. So to do that, I enter in edit mode and select 2 vertices here. And why I do that, it's because I'm going to snap the 3D cursor to the center. And because it is oh my god, I'm tired. Because of the diagonal of it, it will automatically go into the center. So by doing so, all I have to do after that is to move the origin to the 3D cursor here, and after that put everything back where I want it to be. And because it's like that, I will be able to scale the object, but it will stay on the 0 surface. So now what I want to change the dimension of it, so I'm gonna put it on 0.55 by 0.55 and an height of 0.8 and height of 0.8. Okay, so this will be the dimension of the barrel. And now what I need to do, if you remember my previous video about the simple deform modifier, I have a technique where I create details on a flat surface and use simple deform to be able to bend it to have a circular form. And this is exactly what I'm going to do here, plus some tricks I'm going to show you. So let me see if I'm okay. The connection is good, everything is okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do now, this plane, I want to put it on this surface here, because from there I will use the simple deform to bend the shape around the cage here. So to do that, I'm going to do the same thing. Just select these two vertices and snap the 3D cursor to the diagonal. And from there, I'm just gonna snap the object here. So now I'm gonna enter to edit mode, and the reason why I'm entered to edit mode, because I'm gonna do a rotation of the object, it's because I don't want to shift the normal here. If I, let me put the move, and let me show you that with normal. So if I rotate in edit mode, the y-axis will take the place of the z1. So let me show you that. You see like this, and I don't want that because I don't want to have to trick the modifier with empties to make it behave the proper way. So because I want the normal in object mode to stay the same, I will do the rotation in edit mode. Whoop. Yes. So now it stays exactly the same, but in edit mode it just changed. And from there, I'm gonna do just put scale. I'm gonna do it roughly here. I'm gonna scale it roughly and give it a base width like this. And now let me create some details on this wood. So let me scale that. So for that, I'm gonna subdivide this. Here, let me remove that because I don't use it at all when I do 3D modeling. And I'm gonna use the Bevel modifier to add details on this mesh. So for that, I will assign these three vertices to a vertex group, and from there I will use the Bevel modifier. So let me show you the wireframe and change the limit method to vertex group like this. And from there I will be able to increase the amount of segments and just adjust to have enough meshes so I can bend it after. Let me increase that a little more. Yeah, maybe 20. 20 is good. Okay, so let's start with that. Perfect. What is the chat? Okay. Whenever I spawn a queue, my first step. Although say whenever I spawn a queue, my first step is always edit AG. It's become like a second time. Okay. So of course, if you have any question, guys, don't hesitate to ask me, and just tell me if you can still hear me properly. So let me put the chat here and put it always on top, so I'll be able to see what's going on. Okay, so now I'm gonna give that a little thickness because the wood isn't a flat plane. Where is the solidify modifier? So here it is, and let me give it a little thickness like this. Maybe too thick, I don't know. I can adjust it later. Robert said, gonna ever talk about your custom shortcut and thought, yes, I will. It will require me a lot of time to, not a lot of time, but just to explain it to you properly, because English is not my native language, and sometimes I have a harder time to express my, it's not to express myself, but I just want you to understand properly the thinking process behind it, but I will for sure. Oh yes, sorry. Let me put it here. Let me put it here. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna use the array modifier to be able to duplicate this mesh to create the shape of the barrel. So for that, let me create the array, and let me put it, maybe, no, let me keep it to 3. If you remember what I said, let me show you. As you can see here, I don't know, you just can see it that much. Wait, maybe here. As you can see here, the width of the wood are not the same everywhere. And the reason is when they make whiskey barrel, they try to not waste, to waste as less wood as possible. So they will stick together multiple wood width to be able to create the barrel. So we have to replicate that in the 3D package. And how we can do that? Oh, wait a second, it's raining here. Let me close the door. Okay, much better. So how we can do that in a 3D package? So in the array modifier, we have the possibility to use an object offset to be able to change the way the array modifier will behave. And to do that, I'm going to use an empty like this, and let me scale it a bit. I don't want it to be too big. Okay, and let me use that here. So we'll use the empty to modify the mesh. And now what I want to do, I want to scale on X to be able to reduce the width of the wood. So as you can see, as you progress, let me, wait a second. As you progress with the array, it will be thinner and thinner. So let me keep that to 3. But we have a problem here. We have a gap, and I don't want that. I want them to stick together. And why that thing happened? It's because of the origin of the mesh. I did a scale on X, and it will scale on both sides. So to be able to correct that, we have to move the origin of the object just here. And by doing so, let me, oh, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so I didn't move the empty, that's why it didn't stick together. So what I did, I just moved the origin of the object and the empty in the same place. So by doing so, the mesh will stick together because it is a wood barrel, so there is no gap in between all the woods. So let me look at the chat. I don't know what happened to the mesh master. So I have to put the mesh master on hold because I have it was because of work. I have too much work, and it took all my free times, and I didn't have the time to complete it. And at the same time, the Blender 2.8 came out, and there is some stuff that was working on the 2.7.9 on the last part, on the last tips and tricks part that didn't work on the new version. So I have to see first what how can I adapt that some techniques to the new version of Blender, and that's why I didn't release it. That's exactly why. For example, I was using heavily before the Boolean modifier with the carve method. that's the carve mode allows me to do stuff that I wasn't able to do in any 3D package, but they removed it, so it just fucked up a lot of things. But yeah, and I didn't want to release you some technique that weren't relevant for the new version of Blender, because there is a part, it's about modeling technique and theory, and after that there is another part about the software itself, and yeah, that's why I didn't release it. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use another array modifier. So the first one, for you to see properly, okay, angle. So you can see properly there is 3 different meshes here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use another array modifier here. So it will duplicate the previous 3 here. But first of all, let me just increase that a little bit. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to use another empty to be able to shrink again this one. So before that, this one was a little bit too heavy. So let me use another empty, scale it, and something important. When I scale the empty like that, I apply a transformation, a scale, because if I don't do that and I apply it to the array, it will change the scale of the object. Now I just scale it to, because I don't want it to be too big, but I apply a scale on it. And after that, I will use it with another array to shrink again the mesh. So here we go, it was this one, the object offsets, and choose, oh, let me put that, the empty 001, and let me scale that again slightly, because the goal is really to give the illusion that the thickness are not the same. It doesn't have to be precise. In fact, it will depend of what the 3D object will be used for. If it is the main object of the scene, you have to be as accurate as possible. If it's not, you can get away with some approximation. So now I'm going to use another one, and this will be the last array modifier, and I will just, now this array modifier will duplicate the previous 2. And let me increase that to maybe 4. Alors. So now, as you can see, we have different thickness. You see? We have the illusion of different thickness. The illusion of having each wood unique, you know, that's the goal on this 3D object. And now we need to shape that mesh to be able to have the form of a barrel. So to do that, I'm going to use 2 simple deform modifier. So the first one will be there to bend the shape like this. So it's maybe too much. Let me reduce that to 25. Let me see. Yeah, let's keep it at 25 for now. And I'm going to use another one to be able to bend it this way. So to do that, again, select a simple deform with the bend option, and I'm going to change the axis here. to Z. And by doing so, it will give me the proper behavior. It will start bending the way I want. So now all I have to do is to do a 360 degrees. So I have the shape, but as you can see, it's not at the same width. But I did something wrong here. Let me see. I don't know why I moved it. It's not at the center. I don't know why. Okay, and now I'm going to take the last array modifier I used to increase, to make it fit as much as I can. So as you can see, it's slightly outside the cage. So what I'm going to do, select everything and scale. I'm going to scale on X and Y by locking the Z axis. By doing so, it will allows me to scale everything properly without having any deformation on the Z axis. Christina. Oh, no problem, Christina. See you soon. So now, the bend is not bending enough on the first simple deform. Let me put. Whoops! What did I just say? Did something wrong here. Wait a second. Okay. The first simple deform. I'm gonna put it at 30 degrees. Yeah, it's much better. So let me smooth that. So if you look at the top view, as you can see, we have different thickness all the time, like this. And of course, the beauty of that is we can adjust at that point pretty much anything. We can reduce, we can, if we want thinner part, I can go to the first one and wait a second, let me look at something. I only put 2. No, this one was the second array modifier. So I can use the empty to reduce the thickness if I want thinner wood, if I want to accentuate the effects. But the beauty of this setup is it keeps everything editable with this flat plane only. So now, something really important on whiskey barrier. So we have cuts here on the wood. Let me show you that. Okay, so on the wood we have a cut here. So we need to generate that to make it more realistic. So to do that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create, let me snap the 3D cursor here and let me create a cube and let me scale that here. So on my custom shortcut, let me show you that here, I assign a plane, the creation of the plane on W here, and I use key modifiers to be able to create cube or circles. But I will talk about this in details in another live stream. So let me now what I want to do, I want to use that cube to create a Boolean operation on the top and the bottom to be able to create the cut you see often on the whiskey barrel. So for that, let me scale, rotate that like this. And I'm gonna do a difference. Operation like this. But I want it on both sides. So for that, let me use a mirror modifier and take as a mirror object this mesh and change it to the z-axis. So by doing so, it will do the Boolean for me on each side, like this. But we have a problem here. As you can see, the Boolean operate properly, but the mesh, I don't have a continuity of the edge loop here. And to make that happen, what a Boolean operation does, it will project the mesh of the Boolean here into the main mesh. So if, for example, I subdivide multiple times, you see here, it will project the results like this. So to be able to make the edge loop continue properly, all you have to do is to put a loop here in the exact same place like this one. And by doing so, everything will work now. So, but something really important, the Boolean operation is at the bottom of the stack. You have to move it up, otherwise it will generate some artifacts on the final mesh. So now, if I activate everything, so this is an add-on on Blender. I don't remember the name. I will search the name for you and I put it in the description at the end of the stream. But this allows you to stack easily or to deactivate all the modifier in the 3D view. You can apply all or delete all. I don't remember the name of it. So now let me, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put a subdivision modifier. Another thing really important, I create that bevel just to show you the difference width of the wood, but it's not, I don't usually put it here. I always put support edge loop with the bevel modifier after all the deformation I do on the mesh. Otherwise, the bevel will not work properly. If let me show you an example. Let me show you an example. If I create a cube, like this, and okay, let me put it that way. Okay, and I want to use a simple deform. No, it's the twist on Z. Yeah. So let me twist that a little bit like this. Let me put a bevel before. Let me change the profile and put it at an angle because I want to create support edge loop like this. Okay. So if I put the bevel modifier before, oh, something really important I forgot to do. Let me put the clip start Okay, so you can see it properly. So if I put the bevel before the deformation, it will create some weird behavior at the top of the mesh. That's why always put support edge loop if you use the bevel modifier after any deformation you will apply on the mesh. Always. So the bevel will behave properly when you will apply a subdivision surface. Let me. It's really on this example. It's really you maybe won't notice it, but yeah, you maybe won't notice it on this example. But it happened to me to do that on really complex meshes, and it just destroy all the mesh for me because I applied the bevel before and the distortion after, and yeah, it didn't work properly. So always use the if you use a bevel modifier and simple deform modifier, always put the bevel after, unless you want a specific look on the shape that requires you to do it the other way. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the support edge loop with the bevel. So same profile angle. Let me reduce that. Like this. And now use a subdivision surface to let me look at something. I think I applied the auto smooth somewhere. Oh yeah. Yeah, I applied the auto smooth. So now we have the mesh, and let me look at it to see if everything is okay. And I don't know if you notice it, but there is not as much curvature here on the wood. And this happened, I think, because let me look at the stack. I know why. Let me look at the chat. It's modifier tool, right? It's modified. Yeah, it's modified. I think it's that modifier tools. Saying you're right. Oh, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. So I have a little problem here. It is too straight here. So maybe it's because I don't have, let me put the modifier here to see. No, because it will change the shape. So now the problem I have here, I don't have enough geometry here to be able to make it a little bit rounder. So to do that, I have two options. Either I use another bevel modifier to create to add much more details here, but I want to do it with the modifier stack. So let me look at this for a second. Okay, so as I said previously, when I use a simple deform modifier with the bevel, I always put, most of the time I put the bevel after the deformation. But here I have a case where it is too flat here. So what I can do is, let me try to switch the bevel here and the subdivision here. You see the difference? Let me show you. Let me switch this again. Let me move that here and move that here. And if I put it again, you see? So it gives me a much rounder shape. So in this case, because, let me remove the optimal display. So because I had enough subdivision with the subsurf modifier here, I can put the bevel before the simple deformation to be able to give me the shape. So there is case like this. That's why you really have to pay attention to what you're doing with the mesh, and look at the final result, and compare it with the reference images you collect previously. So, good boy, I thought it's 0.79 for a second. No, because it's not 0.79. I keep the same color, like 2.79, because it's really relaxing for my eyes. So that's why I didn't change it. So I can work long hours without having to burn my eyes. Okay, so now the modeling for this one is done. For this part, okay. So now when I'm, wait a second, maybe it's not thick enough. Let me look at this. Maybe I can give it a little more thickness. Let me look at, yeah, and just move let me deactivate the subsurf. Whoops. Wait a second, I'm in normal. Yes. So I can give it much more thickness like this. Okay guys, don't hesitate. If you have any question about what I'm doing, you can ask me for sure. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create the cap of the barrel. So to do that, the 3D cursor is already at the center of the object, so I create a plane. So there is different way you can do this. You can start with a cylinder, you can start with a circle and just modify it. Me, I take the habit, I always start with a plane, always. Sometimes I use circle mesh when I want to cut holes and stuff like that, but when I always love to start from a simple mesh, and if I have to subdivide it as much as I needed to create details, I go with that. So, but what I'm going to show you now is one way to do it. It's not the most efficient way or whatever. It's the way I work usually, because starting from the plane, it's much. I love to bend the mesh to and start forming the object I want, and the plane, always start from a plane to do that. Now I need what I need to do. Let me look at some reference here for the barrel. Let's look at this one. Oh, this one is really. Wait a second. Wait a second. Large. Okay. let's look at this one. Viewing images. Whoops. It's up. I already have, no. Okay, this one. So this one is the same. It's composed of different wood thickness, but to keep it simple, because I already showed you how you can make that happen. So I will go with the same width for the cap. So for the cap, if you want to keep the same technique with the modifier stack, to be able to have different thickness and while keeping editable, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, because you will have to use a Boolean container to create the circle shape, and that will generate extra vertices, and you will have to do some cleanup. So for the cap, I think the best way, in my opinion, is to do it manually, because it is a little mesh. You don't have to do a lot of work on it. So in my opinion, doing it manually is the best way. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna subdivide this, and I want to, let me remove this and create a circle with this one. And now let me subdivide it twice. Whoops. And let me scale that properly. Okay. So now I'm asking you to pay attention, because what I'm going to do is, it's not tricky, but you really have to pay attention on about what's going to happen on the screen. So what I want to do, I want to fill the mesh, but I want to connect all the vertices here, so I will be able to to create the wood properly. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. So what I need to do, I need to extrude first, but to cancel the translation for the vertices to stay at the same place as the previous one. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scale it on the y-axis. Whoops, on the y-axis like this. Wait a second. Let me redo it again. Okay, and scale it on the y-axis. And by doing so, I will be able to, if I scale and to put it at 0, so it will stick together all the vertices. Of course, they are not connected right now, you see? So I need to do remove double. So let's call it now merge by distance. And now the mesh is connected. So from there, I want to inspect the mesh to see if I have any triangles, and I have one here. So let me merge at last here and here. So now I have only quad meshes. And from there, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the wood to be able to have the same effect here. So we can do it in different way. So to make it really simple, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the mirror modifier. So I don't need that part. So I can select it. So what I just did, I just select the loop here and use the select loop inner region. So what it does, it selects, let me show you that with a simple plane. Let me subdivide it. So if I me select this, for example. A select loop in a region will select everything that is inside a loop, like this. And its opposite is what is name? Is the I don't remember. I'm so used to select loop. Select boundary loop. So the select boundary loop is the opposite of the select inner region. The boundary loop will select the loop of all the meshes you will have selected, and the select inner region will do the opposite. So because here I select this mesh and the select bigger is not activated, it will select everything that is on the right side here. Okay, so now, let me select that, remove it, and create a mirror modifier like this. Okay, I have something. Okay, the origin wasn't on the proper place. Let me see that. So now from here, I can even remove that. Honestly, I can delete those vertices and remove that. But what I'm gonna do, yeah. So now I'm gonna select these edges, this one, and just do a split. Just cut it. You see, and from there, let me isolate this so we can work on that only. Use the solidify modifier, like this, and use the bevel. Okay, to create support edge loop, the same profile 1. That's weird, why I don't see it. Geometry. Wait a second. Wait a second, what's going on? I have something weird happening. Whoops, solidify is too big. Wait a second. Just can see the modifier, the bevel modifier. I don't know why. What's going on? The profile, clamp overlap. Okay, it was a clamp overlap that didn't work properly. Okay, so I have this, but I have weird behavior. Let me increase and change the profile to 1. And let's put a subsurf to see how it's working. So it's working well, but the shape is terrible here. It's terrible. Got the chat. Okay, gonna Paddy said it's good to learn more about topology, especially quad. Yeah, for sure, because I realized the last year was really crazy about Boolean, non-destructive, and guns and stuff like that. But that's cool to know. But in if you want to 3D be a 3D modeler or integrate an agency or a studio, I don't know. Most of the, for example, in my job, it's mostly quad meshes and proper topology and non-destructive and Boolean stuff. It's cool to know, but man, this is not the reality of the day-to-day work. It's really quad meshes, quad only, quad all the time, and not all the time, but most of the time you really have to know proper topology to be able to do the work. So and it's not practical because when you are Boolean modeling based, because man, you cannot use it anywhere in production. So if it's a still object that is far away, you can get away with that, but most of the time it's not that. The object will be animated after, and some element will be destroyed with I don't know, Houdini or whatever. So no, it's not. Learn proper modeling and topology first, and after that you can integrate Boolean modeling technique if you want to. But most of the time you will have to deliver proper quad meshes most of the time. So let me look at this. So as you can see, the shape is terrible here. So what I need to do, I'm going to create another reference with the circle and put it to 64. What the oh. Okay. So I can use that as a reference point. Oh, you're welcome, man. Yeah, that's the thing is the problem with YouTube these days. So you have tons of tutorials with. Let me pause for a second. You have tons of tutorials with how to non-destructively modeling this and that, but ask this question every time you see a tutorial like this. Ask yourself this question: it is practical? Can you use it on the production pipeline? If you're already intermediate 3D modeler, if you're a beginner, you don't know anything about anything. So my advice, if I can give an advice, is really to reach out professional, and they will give you some insight about what, if you want to integrate whatever studio. So you can reach them and ask them what type of modeler if they're looking for, and what software they use, or if they have specific modeling workflow. I don't know if all of them will give you those information, but you really need to know how they work on a daily basis. If you're in a concept art team, when your goal is only to deliver final images, you don't care about the topology in theory, but in practice you do, because most of the time you will send the 3D object to a production pipeline after that, and the less work they'll have to do in the retopology, the better. So I think, in my opinion, it's really important, if you want to dive into 3D, to learn how to 3D model well and understand topology well. Wait a second. Drinking some tea because I have a flu, so sorry about that. I work in a game studio right now, and I do mostly low poly, but also do high poly characters. Modeling wise, it's always helped me to good topologies, because yeah, exactly. So you learning proper modeling technique and topology will it will always benefit you. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really fancy to see how you can create shapes quickly with booleans and stuff. But in the real job application, it doesn't work like that. You have to do stuff properly, because the object will be used in different production pipeline, and you never know. You never know how the stuff will be used. It will depend too of where you work. If you work in the advertising agency, doing mostly still images, you can get away with a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, for sure, because now you have a much easier way to do texturing, so you can really be flexible on the topology. But if you have to lend your 3D model to an animation department or stuff like that, no man, it's really have to be clean and with a really nice topology. So yeah, that's to me, that's so important to know how to do that, because it's like drawing. When you know the foundation of drawing, how to draw character properly, after that you can create cartoon character if you want, you can create caricature, you can create whatever you want, because you have the fundamentals already in place. And for 3D it's exactly the same. Have the fundamentals in place, learn how to use the tool, how topology works, and after that you will be able to take as many shortcuts as you want to get the job done. Topology always take. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's continue. Let me look at what time is it. Wait a second, because okay, I'm gonna finish that, and after that I will quit the stream. So the stream will take place every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. I will program a 2-hour live stream every Sunday. So yeah, I will post it in the community tab and on YouTube, so you will be notified by that. So now, as you can see, so the mesh is really not good at all. So what I need to do, wait a second, I think I did something wrong here. Oh yes, I apply all the versions. Thanks man, you too, stay healthy. So now let me see with the geometry I created if I have enough to adjust properly. And I can definitely see now it's not going to be the case, because the curvature here, to make the curvature proper here, I don't think, or maybe I'm talking too fast. Let me see that. Let me see that, if it works. Here is not going to work. So I need to create an object here. Okay. Let me see. Oh. Okay. We enter into a garbage mode here. What's going on? Oh, I merged the mesh. It's not what I intended to do here. Okay. Let me apply this here. And let's see what's going on here. Okay. No, I don't have enough geometry here for sure. It's not enough. So I can either do it manually, but I'm gonna I will restart the mesh. Wait a second. Restart to do the mesh. It's not. Okay. Okay. Now I have my curve as a reference point. And let me create a circle mesh. Know how much? 20. If 26 is enough, let me put 32. Let's go with that and see. Sometimes gonna be trial and error. And this is exactly, oh, wait a second. No, it's not. Okay. So I'm gonna do the same, just extrude, cancel the extrusion for the vertices to stay at the same place. Now scale it on Y and put it at 0. And I think I did the exact same amounts. Yes, same amounts. Let me put 64. No, it's too much. It's way too much. Okay, let me see. Oh, I forgot to remove the excess geometry. The thing is, it has to stay straight here, because I can of course put a support edge loop like this, but the problem is I will have a deformation here and the wood will not be straight, so I have to find a way to make it work. Actor, I hope you have a nice day today. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I have a little flu since the last 4 days, but it's getting better. So it's just the morning here. I live in the Caribbean in Guadeloupe, and now it is 8:45. I will wrap up the streams soon. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Inset when you follow. There is a setting in the inset where it follows the geometry. Check out the bottom. Okay. Which one? Edge rail? Okay. I never used it. I never used that thing. Thanks, man. I didn't know it. let's see how it works. Nice. Okay. Okay. You see, you learn every day. That's what I love about this field. You learn every single day new stuff. Okay, so if I let me. The thing is, if I put, let me think for a second, because I don't want to add too much geometry. Let me do the exact same I did previously. And use the mirror. Oh, okay. My normals were inverted. Okay, stumbled upon it accidentally. Yes, it often happen like that. I can count how many stuff. Oh, happy accident. Love it. That's why I have a video about cutting dynamically. Create some cuts dynamically with the mask modifier. And I was watching. It was Fausto De Martini. I was watching, and I see him use this technique in 3ds Max, and I said to myself, oh, maybe it can be done in Blender, and I looked for it, and I was failing, and just by accident I used the max modifier, and I found it. Oh yeah. So I love happy accidents. Okay, so I just did. I'll do the same. Let me use the solidify. Okay, apply the scale here. Okay, and put Bevel. Oh, what just happened? I have multiple subdivision. I don't know what happened. Oh no, I'm not making a coin. I'm making the gap of the barrel, a whiskey barrel. It's not a coin. It's not a coin, but I'm looking for the right amount of geometry to be able to have a perfectly rounded shape. That's it. And it's since it is a live stream, I didn't prepare, so you watch me fail live. So no, it's not a coin. Oh, I made a mistake. Okay. Okay, so let me solidify, and yeah, but it's not really watch me fail. It's showing you on the work on the production work. It happens to me a lot. It happens to me a lot. The thing with YouTube, with tutorials with YouTube, you have to keep in mind that everything is scripted. So sometimes in the beginning, when I start learning 3D modeling, I was looking at, it was It3D at the time, I think, and the modeling process was so smooth, and what the hell? The guy know exactly what he does. Everything is the one shot, but in fact it was scripted, and the tutorial was made many times before the release. So that's at that point, that's absolutely normal. But on a daily basis, generally when I have a project, I make notes of what I'm gonna use, because with experience you know pretty much what you're gonna use, what tool you're gonna use to make the object, but it doesn't prevent you at all from having to do try and error on some stuff. Even stuff you already 3D modeled before. It's in real production, it happens often. So, I must admit I've forgotten about the channel to 6 months. Oh yeah, that's absolutely normal. I didn't post, maybe it was 1.5 years, 2 years, I don't even remember, so for sure. And it is a small channel, so that's normal. That's normal, don't worry. Okay, so I'm gonna finish that and finish the stream, and I'm gonna continue that on the next one. Let me just apply the bevel. Okay. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I think I have lots of good feedbacks on the procedural modeling. The procedural parts, man. This is another beast, because I would love to create a tutorial on it, but oof, it is another beast, that's for sure. The video I posted previously about my texturing process is only a small part, because on the stream I use some procedural texture I made myself, and those texture by themselves take, I don't know, they will take several stream sessions too. But I will do, oh, you give me an idea. Yeah, I will do a shading session, but on the texturing creation parts. I will take a random topic and explain to you how to create custom procedural texturing, but not with heavy mathematics, whatever, I don't know, because I saw some crazy stuff out there, but there is much simpler way to create realistic stuff in Blender procedurally. So yeah. Let me oh, I didn't put the subsurf modifier. Okay. The bevel. I don't have a profile of one. Okay. Whoops. Made a mistake. So yeah, on this one, just try to keep it as high res, but with as low polygon as possible. It's not going to be always possible to do that, but for this one it will get the job done. Because after that, in the next session, we'll put some, we'll create some damage on the barrel. So I don't necessarily need it to be absolutely perfectly. wait a second. Forgot to. Sorry, I think I need to invest in another keyboard because this one's starting to. Not to work properly. Where's the mirror modifier? Okay. So what I'm gonna do now, and I need to create another modifier, another mirror modifier here, and use the barrel as the axis object. So by doing so, I will be able to replicate it on both sides. And to not make it straight, let me rotate this 45 degrees, like this. Okay. So yeah, this is, it's not perfectly centered. And on the reference pictures here, as you can see, the wood, they are not really, this one is really higher, this one is really lower. So in the next session we will create some damage. First of all, we'll create the metal rings on all of them, and after that we'll create some damages on the wood. And I will show you two different ways to do that. You can do it either manually. What I mean by manually is just cutting some pieces by hand on the mesh, or using the skull part. For this type of project, it will depends of the position of the object. So to me, the bigger damage you can do it by hand, because I will show you in the next session, but to me it's much faster. And the thing is, if you have to use the sculpting tool to do that, you will have to generate much more geometry that is necessarily needed to create some holes here and here, deformation of the wood, you know. So yeah, I will show you that in the next session. So will there be shading stream? Yes, I will do some shading stream. Not I think stays mostly on non-transparent stuff, because my machine will not be able to handle it with the stream. So it will be mostly custom texture and stuff like that. So I will make some research about what type of shading we'll do. Maybe some rusty things or stuff like that, but it will be mostly non-transparent stuff for now, because my computer just can't handle the shading, the cycles plus the OBS Studio. I tried it before and it just crashed. So yeah, it will be mainly that. So yeah, guys. So thanks for to be here for the first live stream. So as I said previously, I missed you a lot. So it was a real pleasure to be here with you this morning. So in the next week we will finish that 3D model, and I will make it available to download. And after that we will start 3D model. A lot of people ask me, it is the snake I showed in a previous video, and I don't know why this one generates a lot of attention. So I will show you how I tackle this type of project, but you will see it is the same principle. Something you have to understand about 3D model, when you start a project, don't see it as I need to 3D model barrel or shape or horse or whatever. They are just shape. They are the shapes. You have to understand how shapes and forms works, and with the basic of 3D modeling and topology, you will be able to tackle any subject matter. So in the next live stream, we'll finish this baby, and after that, tackle the snake. I think this one will be really fun to do. So yeah, guys, thank you for today, to be here today. I wish you a great Sunday, guys. Stay safe. That's really important. And yeah, see you next week. We close that, and goodbye, everybody.